Hi, I'm Andrew, the young adult and media librarian at North Brunswick Public Library. Did you ever like a book or a song or a movie or a series, and it seemed like no one else had ever heard of it before? And then suddenly, one day, it becomes very popular. And you have the right to say, I liked it before it was cool. You might not, because that might make you sound silly, but you might think that. Well, long before the character of Wanda Maximoff, alias the Scarlet Witch, appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies or the series WandaVision, she had been my favorite Avengers. When I had collected the Avengers comics, you know, there were you saw these superheroes who would hit things with their fists, with shields, with hammers, with repulsor rays or arrows. But Scarlet Witch was different. She could affect probability. She could make things that seemed unlikely to happen happen. Right? So something might explode for no reason, and that could turn the tides of the battle. All right. Now, why was this? Was this because she was a mutant or because she was a witch? Right? Who and her family, that was always something of a mystery, as was who her true parents were, right? If you read the comics at different times, you'd get different answers to who her parents were. Now, this is pretty appropriate for a character who's known as a chaos witch, right? To have sort of a chaotic story, not sure what's going where, but it also leaves mysteries that need to be solved, either by the reader or for the Scarlet Witch herself. Right? And as an adventurer, I sort of liked watching her when she would become more confident. Right? She started out sort of doubting herself a lot, and then it was good. I always enjoyed it when she took more of a leadership role. Well, all this sets the scene for our new collection for the library. A new book, The Scarlet Witch: The Complete Collection, by James Robinson and various artists. And in this book, Wanda goes on a quest because she knows that witchcraft seems to be dying in her world. And she has to find out why and put a stop to it. Otherwise, there's no more witchcraft. And of course, as she goes along on her journey, she gets to learn about herself, about her past, and more importantly, perhaps, about her present and what she wants her future to be. So I always find that very satisfying when a character has that kind of a double journey. And along the way, she's accompanied by her former teacher, Agatha Harkness, who is now a ghost and providing a lot of the humor in this adventure. I'm going to share my screen now, and we'll show you our online catalog, which you can have access to from our website, northbrunswicklibrary.org. When I put in the Scarlet Witch here, all right, we got a lot of hits come up. All right, let's just keep it down to items owned by North Brunswick. We don't necessarily need to see what the other libraries have, although you can always put an interlibrary loan on. Really what I'm focusing on today is this one, Scarlet Witch: The Complete Collection, by James Robinson and artists including Vanessa R. Del Rey, Marco Rudy, Steve Dillon, and Chris Visions. Now, James Robinson is a writer I've enjoyed for a long time. In the 90s, he wrote a great superhero series called Starman, which was about a man whose father was a superhero, now gone, and now the son, or retired, and the son is in the place where he feels pressured to continue that tradition, whether he wants to or not. So it's a lot about family. And this book is about Scarlet Witch: Complete Collection. It's about families as well. So you can place a hold on it from our catalog. Or if you prefer ebooks, you can go to Hoopla. I'll type in Scarlet Witch: Now, the book that we have, the book that we just got, is all 15 issues of the series, plus a little bit more. There's a little extra with Doctor Strange. But on Hoopla, it's broken down a little bit smaller. We have volume 1 for issues 1 through 5, volume 2, issues 6 through 10, and volume 3, issues 11 through 15. And how can you tell that apart from the other comics that come up when you look for a Scarlet Witch? Well, you can see that the covers look different. There's only black, white, and scarlet. Of course, the inside it's a lot more complicated than that, right? And look at the middle one right now a little bit, The World of Witchcraft, illustrated by Joelle Jones. Right? And there's Doctor Strange right now, right? But this is actually one of the more realistic part of the artworks. But of course, not all of it, right? You can see here's all kinds of monsters, scary monsters and things. All right. So this is just one example of what we see. But this is basically this part isn't necessarily connected to Scarlet Witch directly, but there's an important character who Scarlet Witch meets along the way, because in trying to complete her quest, Scarlet Witch goes around the world and she interacts and often has to fight figures from legends and myths and folklores from whatever place she's in. I think it's so that's sort of part of the fun. If you like a lot about folklore and world cultures, you can see a little bit of that. So you can place an order of this for contact us pickup, or or you can call us or you can download the ebooks on Hoopla, whatever you prefer to do. Have you read this book? Do you like Scarlet Witch? Are there any other characters that you think are about to become popular the way Scarlet Witch has? I always love to hear from you. I love to hear requests for books maybe we should order, or books that I can talk about for this series. And happy reading.